Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Midtown Atlanta. You are welcome. Such is the nature of life that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear. And you are that opportunity, and so am I, and so it is. Whoever you are, whatever path brought you here today, we know who you are. You are welcome and celebrated. You are an individualized expression of the divine life in which we all live. We are life's opportunity to be someone unique and wonderful in this world. So whatever your ethnic background, religious affiliation, however you know yourself or describe yourself, you are welcome to be a part of this community in whatever way serves you. We are a strong, open, globally connected community centered on clarity of principle. Through teaching, service, and practice, we create a safe and respectful environment that supports healthy spiritual growth. And now, our Declaration of Principles as stated by our founder, Ernest Holmes.
A few of the Declaration of Principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful, hey.
So a practitioner is someone who's demonstrated the ability to use spiritual practice and spiritual laws to bring about changes in their lives. They've demonstrated they know how to bring about these changes in other lives as well. They are licensed by the Centers for Spiritual Living, and they're available to provide you with spiritual guidance and support in those areas you're looking for assistance. You may contact them through our website, cslmidtown.org. And today we've got one of our wonderful practitioners. She's the co-lead of our practitioner group, Maya Fuller. Welcome, Maya.
Greetings, CSL Midtown. Welcome to the second Sunday in September. I challenge you to say that 3 times fast. In preparation for today, I was looking at the global themes that CSL Home Office offers us, and I was thinking about how the yearly, monthly, and weekly themes tie in together. So I'm going to use the metaphor of a garden to talk about what came to me. You know, sometimes we think about spiritual growth as this big, lofty thing. We have to climb a mountain or sit in a cave to find our truth. But what if it's much simpler and down to earth than that? What if it's as simple and as complex as tending a garden? Imagine the garden of your life. Every thought you plant, every choice you make, every belief you water, it's all growing something. Our yearly theme is rising higher, growing deeper. It's the 2-part process of creating a magnificent garden. Rising higher is like standing up and looking at the whole landscape. It's the moment you step back and see the full potential of your garden, not just the weeds at your feet. It's when you lift your consciousness to a higher perspective and realize that the soil you're working with isn't just dirt. It's the rich, fertile ground of spirit. Ernest Holmes taught us that the universe is friendly to us, and rising higher is the act of remembering that truth. It's seeing that the very substance of your being is divinely perfect. But a vision isn't enough. You have to get your hands dirty. Growing deeper is the other half of this work. It's where you put your hands into the soil and plant the seeds of your intentions. It's the daily practice of pulling weeds, those old limiting beliefs that don't serve you, and watering the seeds of what you truly desire to grow. It's where we bring that high level spiritual knowing down into the mud and the muck of our daily lives. It's the both and reality. We are both spiritual being with a transcendent view and a human being with a garden to tend. And what's the goal of nurturing this garden with such care? It's to bring forth a transcendent purpose, which is our monthly theme. A truly transcendent purpose is when the beauty and the bounty of your garden spill over the fence and feed the world around you. It's a purpose that goes beyond your own small plot of land and contributes to the whole ecosystem of life. That's what our monthly theme calls a turbocharged passion for life. I mentioned that last week. I really like that phrase, the turbocharged passion for life. A life so filled with intention and awareness that it becomes a gift to others. This is where the soil, the seeds, and the tending all come together. Like Dr. Bob said last week, your purpose isn't something you find, it's something that grows from the rich, loving work you do every single day. It comes from who you are. And the most beautiful part is, you don't have to do this alone. Spirit is the very life force that makes our garden grow. Our guest minister today, Reverend Darrell Jones, is going to show us exactly how to cultivate this garden. He'll be talking about peace, purpose, and passion as guideposts to soulful living. Think of these as the specific tools you use to tend your garden. Peace is the calm soil, the knowing that all is well. Passion is the life-giving water, the energy that fuels your work. And purpose, the transcendent purpose, is a magnificent harvest that feeds you and everyone around you. Now, I don't know exactly what Reverend Darrell is going to say. I have no idea at all. This is just me tying these themes in together, and tying in what he shared with us that he's going to be speaking about peace, passion, and purpose. But I do know is that he's going to help us understand how to use those three as guideposts to make our garden, our lives, flourish. But before we move into that, let's get centered and prepare the soil of our consciousness for his word. I'm going to invite you to take a moment to find a comfortable position. You might want to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and just let yourself settle in, because we're going to move into spiritual mind treatment. I'm going to speak in the first person, and I'm going to invite you to accept what resonates with your soul. There's only one life, one source, one presence. It is an infinite, all-encompassing source, creative intelligence from which all things are made. This one is the life in me, the life in you, and the life in every person listening today. It is the infinite, all-encompassing, creative intelligence from which all things are made. This one life is a life in me, it's a life in you, it's a life in every person listening today. It is a perfect, whole, and complete consciousness, and it is the very essence of our being. We're not separate from it. We are immersed in it, and we are an expression of it. I now unify with this truth. I know that my life is like a garden, and the soil of my being is this divine substance. I'm a gardener, and the seeds I plant are my thoughts and intentions. I know that spirit is the very force that makes my garden grow, bringing forth a beautiful, bountiful harvest. My purpose is not something to be sought, but an expression of this divine reality. And from this place of knowing, I declare and realize that my life is filled with a transcendent purpose. I let go of any small or limited ideas about what my life can be, and instead I embrace a vision of what it already is. I consciously choose to rise higher in my thinking and to grow deeper in my being. And in doing so, I know my purpose is made manifest. My life is a testament to the power of intentional living. My work and my being serve a greater good, and the fruits of my labor are a blessing to the world. I'm so grateful for this truth. I'm grateful for the fertile ground of my own consciousness. I'm grateful for the seeds of transcendent purpose that are planted within me. I'm grateful for the guideposts of peace, purpose, and passion that make this a joyful life journey. And I'm grateful for Reverend Darrell and the wisdom he is here to share with us today. So I release this word into the law of mind, knowing that it is already done. It is already in full expression, and I step back and let the divine get to work. And so it is. Amen.
All right. As Maya said, our speaker this morning is Reverend Darrell Jones. He's a mindfulness educator, spiritual director, keynote speaker, and restorative practices champion who helps people slow down, wake up, and live on purpose. Because meaningful change starts within. His mission is to connect individuals and organizations with the practices that cultivate presence, wholeness, and soulful living. Darrell's worked with thousands nationwide, leading with grounded wisdom, warmth, and over 2 decades of spiritual practice. His work centers on integrating mindfulness, meditation, conscious leadership into everyday life, whether in the boardroom or the classroom or at home. From corporate training to one-on-one coaching, Darrell brings dynamic blend of spiritual insight and practical tools. As a licensed minister and author of Soul Gym, a manual to connect mind, body, and spirit for soulful living, he bridges ancient teachings with modern life in a way that is approachable, powerful, and real. Welcome, Reverend Darrell.
Thank you so much. It is a joy to be here with all of you today. I appreciate the song selection of Gary Lynn Floyd. I love his music. I appreciate the contemplation and the treatment by practitioner Maya, and this idea of the growth, the muck in the mire, the dirt that we grow out of. It makes me think of Thich Nhat Hanh's work in his book, No Mud, No Lotus, that without the mud of our life, without the dirt, without the stink, without the muck and the mire, nothing like a lotus would grow out. And today we're going to talk about all of that. We are in particular going to focus on how we bring ourselves into the world. And the song based upon the prayer of St. Francis, make me an instrument of thy peace. This is what the world needs today. We need instruments of peace, active and living. And I find that oftentimes we are waiting for the world to be something before things are peaceful. But the world needs us to bring our peace into our experience. My talk title today is Peace, Purpose, and Passion, Guideposts for Soulful Living. The global themes for the Centers for Spiritual Living this month is Transcendent Purpose, as Maya mentioned, and as Reverend Bob spoke to last week. And this theme of Transcendent Purpose, it's the core message in our Science of Mind magazine. If you have that coming to you, either electronically or physically. And it centers the 400 plus communities around the world that are Science of Mind communities in their Sunday talks, in their weekly services, their classes, workshops that we share with the greater public. And I want to share with you a specific paragraph. So as ministers, I was actually on the committee that wrote our global themes for 2025 last year. And so we spend a lot of time coming up with What is the overarching theme for the year? What are the monthly themes? What are the weekly themes? And then we give some sort of fodder. We give some sort of guidance as to here's some things that you can use to support your talk. And here's the paragraph that really spoke to me out of the notes from ministers this month. Transcendent purpose. Living from transcendent purpose involves embracing a turbocharged passion for life and striving to bring forth a new reality. It means reaching inwardly to express outwardly what spirit is calling for, connecting to a higher vision that transforms imagination into tangible experience. This approach to purpose transcends ordinary goals, guiding us toward a profound truth and a new paradigm of living that aligns with the Centers for Spiritual Living's vision of creating a world that works for everyone. We need a world that works for everyone, don't you agree? I think we actually have it. However, there is an ingrained belief that there isn't enough for everyone, and that there is a finite amount of power that must be fought over, even killed over, in order to quote unquote survive. Whether we want to admit it or not, we live in this modern world. So in some way, shape, or form, we are all contributing to the challenges that face us today. So often we want to say, I'm not doing that, they are. It isn't one person's fault. We are all living, thinking, and breathing today, so we are all at cause. However, it is much easier to point a finger over there and blame, shame, hate, and make something or someone evil. If you know anything about the law, the problem is the law is always working. So as we blame, as we shame, as we hate, or call something or someone evil, what are we co-creating with the law of life? More blame, more shame, more hate, and more evil making. It may feel good in the moment to say something discouraging, disparaging about someone, to point the finger and blame and shame over there. But we aren't creating good through shame. We aren't creating more love through blame. We aren't creating possibility through hate or evil making. That isn't the way that the law works. In the face of the violence this past week, have you remained focused on your transcendent purpose? And yes, I'm talking about Charlie Kirk. I'm talking about his alleged killer, Tyler Robinson. But not only that, the violence that has taken place in the Middle East between Israel, Gaza, Qatar, Russia, and Ukraine, throughout the African continent, like countries of Sudan, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Uganda, other places where violence has become so norm, it's not even in the news, at least in the American news that much, like Haiti, Venezuela, Honduras, and Mexico, and more. Are we really individually and collectively contributing towards a world that works for all? I would argue that we aren't. The answer is no. And I don't mean to negate any of our well-intentioned efforts, our well wishes, our prayers, and our treatments, but I think most of us in the world are not connected to our purpose, our transcendent purpose. Our universal, transcendent purpose as spiritual practitioners, which I believe we all are. We use this term in science of mind and religious science, and that practitioners are people who have gone through some schooling. That is true. Practitioners are licensed to work with people, but we are all practitioners. We are all using this law every single day, whether we're actually consciously choosing to use it proactively or not. Every single way that we show up is activating this law. We are all spiritual practitioners. So here is your transcendent purpose, period, as a spiritual practitioner, and that is to know God as all of life. Not some of it, all of it. Imagine if instead of blame, shame, hatred, and evil making, we all, including our nation's leaders, first affirmed, I am a part of everything, for all is God, and so am I. God is in everything I see, even if I don't understand it, or even if I don't like it. Today, we explore 3 guideposts that are sure to support this knowing: peace, purpose, and passion. Now, these 3 pillars, these qualities, these values, they have been at the center of my living for the past year. Every year, I play around with different words, different values, different guideposts to keep me centered in my work as a spiritual practitioner on the planet. Peace, purpose, and passion, they have become a framework for experiencing a soulful, connected, spirit-filled life. I am always seeking frameworks, practical, pragmatic ways of practicing spirituality. Now, don't get me wrong, it is important. We have Sunday talks like this, we have classes. I think it's important to talk about spirituality and study it. But if we aren't bringing what we study and what we talk about into action, then what is it for? What does it serve? This is why I wrote and published my book, Soul Gym, a manual for connecting mind, body, and spirit for soulful living. I saw a lot of talk and very little practice in the lives of various clients and students that I was supporting. Not only was it true for them, but it was true for me. We would talk about things, hardships and challenges, as well as successes, and the things that could possibly support positive growth and change. But the clients and I would leave and go back into life really excited. But then the following session, they would return to the chair and we'd sit and talk in my office. And it was almost as if nothing had changed, that no time had passed. Things were the same and they were the same. They were the same and they did nothing to stretch, grow, or become. I had no judgment and I have no judgment on this, as I have struggled with the same challenge myself. That is why I wrote the book, to remind myself and others that if we don't do something to stretch our mind, our body, and our spirit, it stays the same, or most likely it atrophies, it breaks down into a lesser version of itself. Think about your physical body. A muscle that is not offered some positive resistance will never, ever get any stronger. There isn't some magical wishing our body into being stronger. It needs to actually work out. A muscle doesn't magically become more agile or more flexible. Again, it needs some positive resistance to activate its ability beyond its current effortless limit. Our mental, our psychological, our emotional, and spiritual selves are no different. We need positive resistance to help us strengthen our mental, psychological, and emotional strength, along with our spiritual agility and flexibility. But this takes intention, effort, and work on our part. And hear this: positive doesn't inherently mean we are supposed to like all of the resistance. Positive here roughly means not life-threatening. Positive means that it is giving us some healthy resistance to push against, to bring us to our limit of current understanding so that we can step into a new understanding. So let's get to work. The framework is fairly direct. We must first awaken or discover peace in the moments that we actually are living in, to allow a calming of the nervous system from fight or flight to that digest, heal, and rest space. So from the sympathetic nervous response, where we're ready to fight the world, to the parasympathetic response, where we're ready to rest and heal. When we reclaim our attention and our awareness from all the shiny things outside of us that claim that they are the center of our universe, We can step in and embody some level of peace in the moment. And then we have reclaimed our attention to the self. And when we do that, some space is created to remember our purpose. We let go of all the purposes that the world puts upon us. We let go of all the shiny things that we think we should or could have done. It transcends our education. It transcends our age or any of the external identifiers of our humanity. And our grand purpose rises up and we go, oh, yes, I am here to express and be a manifestation of the qualities of the divine, period. We are here to be love, wisdom, kindness, compassion, hope, sufficiency, abundance, joy, light, possibility, and more. And once we remember that, and we remember it again, and we reconnect to that purpose, there's a certain passion of life and living that finds its way into anything that we may be doing. I hope that you can feel that progression. Peace, getting grounded in that peace, igniting and remembering and reconnecting to our purpose, and then that passion, that zest propelling us into our life. Now, at the same time that there's a progression here, this is not necessarily linear. I love the image of a spiral. This is a spiral way of living. Because peace, purpose, and passion, it's all happening at the same time, but there may be something from, I like to call them the 3 Ps. There may be something from the 3 Ps in a moment that is specifically needing our attention to get us consciously back into our spiral loop up into greater living at the given moment. I hope that you will join the Zoom link at the end of service today, because I'm sure there are thoughts, questions, ideas, sharings, personal anecdotes that resonate with this. But I want to give you some fodder. I want to give you some clay to mold for yourself this week as it relates to peace, purpose, and passion. Now, in the global themes, there is always a book of the month that gets suggested. Not that it has to be used, but just as a textual reference to support the theme. And as a part of that, this month in Transcendent Purpose, the book Rest is Resistance, a Manifesto by Tricia Hersey, is one of the books that is highlighted. So peace, oftentimes we get conflated with this idea of no conflict, right? When we pick up the newspaper or we open up a news app, we are looking for where there is not conflict as a outward manifestation of peace. And that is a way of seeing and understanding and realizing that peace is present. But I want you to bring it into yourself, because this is about an internal activation that we bring out into the world. We are here. Our purpose is to be the God that we are, to be the spirit that we are, to bring the qualities of spirit into the world, not wait for the world to get somewhere in order for us to do it. So to do that, we must rest. Tricia Hersey says, we must believe we are worthy of rest. We don't have to earn it. It is our birthright. It is one of our most ancient and primal needs. She goes on to say, release the shame that you feel when resting. It does not belong to you. And then she really takes a deep dive and says, we are socialized into systems that cause us to conform and believe our worth is connected to how much we can produce. Our constant labor becomes a prison that allows us to be disembodied. We become easy for systems to manipulate, to be disconnected from our power as divine beings, and we become hopeless. We forget how to dream. This is how grind culture continues. We internalize the lies, and in turn becomes agents of an unsustainable way of living. We can't go 24/7. It's impossible. You might be able to go 36 hours, but then at some point your body literally starts to break down because you have to rest. This is not only about sleep. This is about restoration. This is about filling your cup. This is about connecting to spirit. This is about peace, feeling that, allowing yourself to experience it, even in the midst of all the conflict that's in the world. We need to do something to calm our nervous system so that we can come back up to some level of capacity. Every single day when I do my corporate instruction, and I'm trying to help people understand the power of mindful meditation, the analogy that I like to use is brushing our teeth. We don't brush our teeth expecting our oral wellness to get to some perfect place that will be there forever. We brush our teeth every single day to maintain a capacity to handle stress, the stress of eating and drinking whatever we eat and drink, right? We are going to have some things that are acidic. We are going to have some things that are sugar-based. We are going to have something that's going to cause bacteria to grow in our mouth, but we do something to bring our capacity to manage and handle that so we just don't walk around with no teeth in our mouth and everything decaying. When we engage in mindful meditation and other mindfulness-based practices, we aren't trying to get away from the world. We aren't trying to stop the world from being the world. We actually aren't trying to stop stress, much to many people's confusion. What if we were just trying to build our capacity? The practice of peace is building our capacity within ourselves to handle the inevitable stress of our lives, whether it's the stress of our professional life, the stress of our relationships, the stress of our physical body and maintaining health. We need to do something to build our capacity to handle life as it is. This is why rest is so important. When we are rested, think of the last time. I had a really good night's sleep last night. And there's something in my physical body, something in my mental and emotional space that I feel room. There's capacity, there's ability. I'm like, bring on the day. I can handle whatever is there. But if I didn't get a good night's sleep last night, I would not have that feeling. There would not be space there. When we are rested, when we are practicing peace, being the peace that is inherently in life, then there's room for us to remember our purpose. Your purpose has nothing to do with your vocation. It's an aspect of it. Your purpose has nothing to do with identity on some level, at least what the external world identifies you with. Your purpose is to be you. That's it. Quite simply. When was the last time you embraced your purpose of being you? Full on. No ifs, ands, or buts, or excuses. Think about this for a moment. As much as the media and marketing would tell you otherwise, why would the world want you to be anything else other than who you are? We need you to be you. I'm not trying to be you. I can't be you. I can only be me. I can only be Darrell Amani Jones, who was born when he was born, to the family he was born into, in the decade and the era that he was born into, bringing my expression of the divine as I know it into the world, not to make it better than anyone else's, but to add to the beautiful tapestry. We have a hard time letting people be who they are, though. And this applies to ourselves as well. We have a hard time letting ourselves be who we are. Embrace who you are. Here are some words from Joseph Campbell to inspire, to maybe let go a little bit of the should, would, and could, and all of the external barriers that we make more important than our own being. In The Power of Myth, Joseph Campbell wrote, "We're so engaged in doing things to achieve purpose of outer value that we forget the inner value, the rapture that is associated with being alive is what it's all about." Ernest Holmes goes on to say, there is nothing in the universe that limits you or could desire to limit you. There is nothing in the universe that withholds from you, because in so doing, it would withhold from itself. You are a part of its purpose. Spirit seeks, urges, and pushes you to fulfill itself. Marianne Williamson goes on, picks up the baton of this thought and says, the purpose of our lives is to give birth to the best which is within us. And then lastly, I'll offer some words from Ralph Waldo Emerson. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Let that be a goal, if you will. I'm not going to tell you what to do in terms of how to activate it. You are unique. We need your uniqueness. And here's what I believe. If we look at the definition of passion from Webster's dictionary, passion is an intense, driving, or overmastering feeling or conviction. When we ground ourselves in some peace, when we remember that we are okay, when we get comfortable in our own skin as it is today, and we reconnect to that purpose, that big transcendent purpose, that we are here to be who we are, nothing more, and that we are here to activate the qualities of spirit in life, no matter where we are, then there's this intense driving conviction that we can bring into whatever we're doing, whether it's something huge or something small. Let me come back as we begin to bring our talk to a close today to this definition, if you will, or to these words around transcendent purpose. Living from transcendent purpose involves embracing turbocharged passion for life and striving to bring forth a new reality, not keeping things the same. Strength and flexibility do not live on the couch, right? If we want to get stronger in our body, if we want to get more flexible in our body, we've got to get up and create a new reality. We can't keep the same comfort. It means reaching inwardly to express outwardly what spirit is calling for, connecting to a higher vision that transforms imagination into tangible experience. This approach to purpose transcends ordinary goals, guiding us toward a profound truth and a new paradigm of living that aligns with the Centers for Spiritual Living of a world that works for everyone. I want to highlight one phrase here to really challenge you this week. Transcendent purpose. It means reaching inwardly to express outwardly what spirit is calling for, not reaching outwardly, finding something that we think we should be to be okay inwardly. It doesn't work that way. So what is spirit calling for in your life? This is a question, not necessarily to always have a perfect answer, but it is a practice, an inquiry to ask ourselves the question, what is spirit calling for in my life? If we ask that question, that is enough. But ask it once you are in some place of peace. Oftentimes we ask that question from a space of worry and doubt. I'm not doing the right thing. I'm not enough. So what is spirit calling me to be? I don't think that the answer is going to come from internally. It's going to come from something you think is good or something that you think you should do externally. Get yourself into some peace. We're going to do this in just a moment, right here and right now. Once you ask that question, at least in my own experience, I find a rising up and a transcendent feeling like I've never known before, a zest for life, a passion for life. My friends, I wish you great peace. May you remember your purpose to be an expression of love on the planet, and let that bring passion into all that you do. Let's close with a quick moment of treatment and prayer. I invite you to take a slow breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, bring a hand to your chest and turn inward. Let's follow these words of invitation that we must inwardly connect and then bring it out into the world. Right now, say to yourself, I am the peace that the world needs. I am the peace that I need. Peace is here within my own heart, mind, body, and soul. Why is this true? Because the peace of God, the peace of life, is not somewhere out there. It is in all things. It is in my life, and it is in your life now. So from this place of peace, we ask ourselves today, as we prepare to step back into this day and start a new week, what is Spirit calling for in my life? What is Spirit calling for in your life? There isn't a singular answer. There is a moment-by-moment answer. Listen with passion, listen with zest, and trust that whatever comes up from within, you can bring it out into the world, and it is for the benefit of all. I release this time, I release this word, I release this talk, and I release all of our individual and collective prayers and intentions, that we may be a beneficial, transcendent purpose on the planet. And so it is. Peace and blessings to you all. Thank you so much, CSL, for having me today. I wish you peace and blessings.
Thank you, Reverend Darrell. What an awesome talk and action for us to do this week. We'll see you over on Zoom in just a little bit. So now I'm going to read our New Minister Sacred Covenant Easy Prayer. You can download this on our website, cslmidtown.org. There is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. And knowing that I am one with this life, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express Spirit, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of Spirit as principle. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God, for it is written, principle is not bound by precedent. It operates according to law, and it's always available to those who are willing to align themselves with it. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister before me as inspiring spiritual oneness through wisdom, love, and authenticity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself, for I am inspired to live as love in the expression of principle. I am awakening the love, the wisdom within me by clearly communicating the principles of universal truth. I am a conduit of divine love, wisdom, and healing energy, recognizing the inherent wholeness within all beings. I am offering teachings, classes, and mystical studies grounded in spiritual principles to cultivate inner wisdom, personal transformation, and empowered living. I'm extending the love, compassion, and transformative power of Spirit into the wider community, fostering connections that heal, uplift, and support individuals in their unique journeys. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will express Spirit and serve as the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful. God is gracious, and so it is. And now it's time for conscious giving. We appreciate all that you do to support us to keep this center going, and you can donate at cslmidtown.org/donate or scan the QR code and it'll take you there. You can do a one-time donation or set up an ongoing donation. Our prosperity affirmation is there. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. So next week, we've got Reverend Dr. Harry Morgan Moses as our speaker. There's a couple of things with the auction. The auction's now on the website. You should have seen emails for this, so look at those. donate. We are looking for donations for anybody that has anything hanging around your house that you would like to pass on, maybe, or something new. There's all kinds of opportunities there. So visit the website, cslmidtown.org. There's an orange banner bar that has the link to the donation site, so you can create your donations. And you can, on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., there's an adult study group. So if you're interested in that, learning more, deepening your understanding, that's a great opportunity to come join us there. That's on the Zoom. Go to cslmidtown.org or just midtown.org. Scroll down to the bottom. There's a link for the Zoom to join that. And now we'll say our affirmation of life. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. Good week, everybody.